You know, Denise, I've got something in this envelope that could save someone's life.
Yes. Tell us about it.
It is. And this is about organ donation. So take a look at this piece. Every month we do a segment with Kentucky One Health called Living Well with Kentucky One, and this month is no different. We're here with Melissa Pritchard from Kentucky One Health. Welcome to Urban Lifestyles.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Now, this month we're talking about bone marrow and being a donor for people who need that. So tell me how important that is.
It's so important. Our patients really depend on our donors. A lot of blood cancers, such as leukemia, lymphoma, sickle cell anemia, multiple sclerosis, these are all diseases that need bone marrow donors. So the process itself to be on the registry is not that hard. It's a swab, and we swab your cheek in 4 different locations to get your DNA, and a lot of paperwork, because who doesn't do paperwork? And then we send this in, and you'll be a part of the registry, the National Bone Marrow Registry. The actual collection procedure, it's got a lot of scary things that people think about it, but it's really not that scary. We require some shots to help, 4 shots to help mobilize your stem cells, and then we put a line in the person. Sometimes these are peripheral, sometimes they're up by the neck, and then we hook people up to a machine for about 1 to 2 days, and it takes those stem cells off of them. It doesn't hurt. The most discomfort that most people feel is kind of flu-like symptoms. They're tired, they're achy, because we're asking for all those stem cells to come up. But the actual donation process does not hurt, and people depend on this to save their lives. African Americans and minorities are some of the least represented on the registry.
And that was one of the questions that I was going to ask you. Who can be a bone marrow donor?
So on the registry, we're really looking for, we would love everyone, but we really go for people under the age of 40, and you're on the registry until you're about 62 to 65. The reasons being is just, as the older we get, the more comorbidities we have, or the more health issues that we have. So trying to get those 18, 19, 20-year-olds on the registry, because then they're on there for 40 years versus a small amount of time. But anyone who's not sick, who doesn't have any autoimmune diseases, relatively healthy, can donate.
What are some of the misconceptions about being a bone marrow donor?
So a lot of the things that I hear is fear of the pain. 98% of the time we use peripheral stem cells through apheresis, which was the process that we just described as using those shots and helping collect those stem cells. A lot of people still think of it as a surgical procedure that's very painful. That process is only used 2% of the time, and it's for patients who actually need the actual bone marrow and not the stem cells. Yes.
So when you are a bone marrow donor, how does the matching process work?
So it's very, very complicated on that end, but what we're looking for is for people to have 10 out of 10 matches. Basically, we want you, all of your, it's called HLA matches, or human leukocytic antigen. We want you to match with your with the recipient, so the patient. Lots of things can happen to the patient the more mismatches we get, so we're looking for kind of your twin out there. Sorry. So when you get matched with someone, it's a very quick process. We ask for lots of ways to get a hold of you because we really do want to know. Most of the time, once the time the donor is identified, we're trying to transplant in about 3 to 4 weeks, depending on that patient's need. The quicker the better. For things like AML, which is acute myeloid leukemia, is just such a fast-moving disease. And we just have such a small amount of time.
When you happen to be a donor, is there ever an opportunity for the donor to meet the person that they're matched with, or are those people kept separate?
Yes, in a year, which is one of my favorite things to do, is to hand people that in a year. But it's your choice. It's the donor and the patient's choice. And if one of those parties don't agree, then neither of them meet. But it can be done anonymously as well, if the patient or the donor proposes. But lots of our donors, I do get to meet them. In this area, we have a lot of people that roam from Germany, have Germanic heritages. So we have a lot of donors from there. But when you're a minority, there's so many people that need this, and there's not a part of it is based on your heritage. So there's just a smaller pool.
So when those meetings come together after a year, what are those things like?
Kind of stinking amazing. I've got pictures from one of my friends. His name is Phil. He's also does a lot of work with Be the Match, but he showed me pictures of meeting his donor, which was amazing. It's just very cool to see. It's very cool to see the letters because they're all heartfelt from both ends.
Well, thank you for that great information. If people want to find out more about the program, how do they get in touch?
So they can go on bethematch.org and they'll actually send somebody a kit. If there's somebody in your community that would like to do a bone marrow donor drive, I would love to be a part of that. And I would be happy to come out on any day or any time based on our schedules, of course, and to do that. And you can contact me here in my office or via email as well.
So Denise, you can see why the organ donor program is so important and why Kentucky One Health is doing so much to, get more minorities involved in the program.
And I think this was good exposure for people to understand exactly what is required, what is involved, so we can step up and help somebody with their life.
That's right. And as they said, it's not a very painful process, and it's just something we should, get involved in. So pick up this envelope and make a difference. We'll take a quick break and back with more right after this.